playing. Oh my goodness.
What is this from? And who gave me this?
I did.
Oh, thank you.
That is research I put in from Jet.
What is? Oh, that was the updated. We did the updated. Oh, perfect. Okay, where do you have that at? What page? Oh, oh, Lacey.
I want to thank everybody for coming out this evening to the May 13th, 2025 Elkhart Community Schools Board meeting. At this time, could we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Mr. Burnett, the Elkhart Promise.
The Elkhart Promise. Every student is known by name, challenged, and supported by highly effective staff, and in partnership with the community will graduate career, college ready, and life ready.
Thank you. Mike? Superintendent.
Good evening, everyone. Hey, tonight on one of our board items is superintendent's contract, and the board, I'm pretty sure, is going to have some follow-up after I give some few thoughts. This weekend, I sent some information out to the school community, sharing that I will not be accepting the board's proposed contract. I do want to share with the community, I do think it is fair. I think it's what it requires for this position, but I also think what is important is that things don't get lost with misinformation, but also timing is important too. I think a leader listens to their community, but I also think a leader educates. I think one of the things that I don't want to ever do is make things about me, particularly regarding the work that's yet to come. In the next 4 to 5 years, no, actually, my favorite thing, start right now. We have tremendous work that we have to do in the school community, dealing with programming, right sizing, our finances, all those things need to be addressed. And I don't want this to be any type of barrier of those things. I think lastly, from my perspective, I'm more of a behind the scenes type of individual. I think it's important to be at all the events to make sure that you're building relationships with everyone, but I don't want to ever be a story for our school district. This is the greatest gift I've ever had in my life, to be the superintendent of a thriving school district. This is what I went to school for my entire life, and this is where I plan to be for a very long time. I am very appreciative of the school board, that I have their confidence in all my decisions, and I feel like the best things are yet to come here in Elkhart. Big deal. I am typically someone who feels like, hey, everybody should be able to earn what they deserve. But I also think for me, timing is important. Tonight, you're going to hear me share some other things towards the end. There's lots to celebrate. You will never hear me speak at this length about myself at this setting, hopefully in the future, because it's not about me. But I do think it's important for our community to know that they have leaders who listen, they have a board that listens. And when we come back, because I do expect my contract to come back up again here pretty shortly, that you will see that the board and superintendent have definitely heard some things, and there'll be some adjustments there. So at this time, I'm going to turn it back over to President Scott.
Thank you, Dr. Hoff. I also want to take this opportunity to give a little insight to the board and this process. Obviously, we were coming here tonight to ratify a contract, and one of the things that happens and things change, and sometimes you have to take a pause and listen. So I have a prepared statement that I'd like to read regarding this process, and hopefully it will give some insight regarding this process. As a board, we invested a great deal of time and effort to find the right superintendent to lead our district. Someone who can improve student achievement, set high expectations, and be accountable, and rebuild our district for the future. We believe we found that leader in Dr. Huff. And it's more of a, it goes beyond belief. We know we found that leader in Dr. Huff. And I want to be clear about this. Dr. Huff has unanimous support of this entire board. We don't always agree on everything as a board, but on this one element of the support of Dr. Huff, we are 100% in agreement. We put significant thought into crafting a contract that reflects the responsibilities and challenges of this critical role, while prioritizing our shared focus on student achievement. Over the past year, we have already begun to see the improvements across our district, as I think everyone here tonight has seen as well. Thanks to Dr. Huff's leadership and focus on our core priorities, these achievements were able to happen. Our core priorities as a board are to provide a safe and engaging learning environment, student achievement, financial stewardship and stability, teacher and staff excellence, parent and community engagements and partnership. With this contract, we are sending a clear message to our community and the district that we, as a board, are committed to student growth and to the achievement, and to achieving outcomes that not only meet but exceed state standards. Student success and academic achievements are the #1 driver of enrollment. And why that's important is, as we all know, with new funding and school of choice, enrollment is what you need to achieve your financial goals for a district. We must grow enrollment. We recognize that some of these changes are uncomfortable for some, but this is a risk we have chosen to take as we prioritize student success. We believe this contract reflects our priorities and is in line with those of similarly sized districts facing similar challenges. When we met as a board on several occasions, we discussed, what is the comp plan of districts with similar size and similar students, similar footprints with buildings and challenges. We looked at data and looked at what other superintendents were getting paid. We looked at contracts, numerous superintendent contracts, and saying, how are they effectively being challenged and expectations set? And we met several times discussing all of this. We even went to the point of looking at what he is currently getting paid and realizing that, it is the same pay for this position within the district from 3 superintendents ago. Mark Mao was receiving this salary in 2012. We looked at a cost of living adjustment and said, what would that look like? And so we went back and that has averaged 2.55% over the last 10 years. And, knowing that probably nobody in this room is still earning what they were earning 10 to 12 years ago, and applied the cost of living 2.55% compounding it yearly, and it took the salary well over to what we offered, and close to the $230,000 range. And so we were trying to look at all those things when we addressed this contract. It wasn't just, let's pick a number, let's look at a district and put it in the contract. There was much thought that went into this. And again, I want to reiterate, we fully support Dr. Huff and believe he deserves this contract that is on the table today. We are confident with his continued leadership, we will move our district forward. With that said, the board has always been a board that will listen and engage feedback, not only from the community, but from the one employee of this district we're responsible for, and that's the superintendent. I think you've seen the communication that went out over the weekend. I think you've heard his comments that he just made, and that he will not be accepting the contract in its current state. And he has asked the board to reconsider its contractual offering. We will honor that request by removing his contract this evening and for further consideration. And we will be presenting this amended contract again in the near future after we have had time to discuss as a board and make those adjustments. So at this time, do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion to rescind the contract at this time. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right. Our invitation to speak protocol. I don't see my little... You know I like to have it. Thank you. I've learned to ask to see if we have one. So we do have one. So when your name's called, I think Tony, you know the protocol. Please come to the mic as you've done many times.
Good evening. I believe I know most of you. My name is Tony England. I'm here. I think I have to say my capacity as a retired employee and as a proud parent starting next year of 3 Elkhart Alliance. I just wanted to come and say thank you all very much. I asked for a retirement date that was very different than my initial request, and I appreciate you all honoring it. And I just came tonight to say thank you very much. It has made a big difference in my life, and I appreciate you taking the opportunity to take that under consideration and make that happen for me. I wish you luck. These last 12 years serving this community and these students have been amazing. And I truly love Elkhart and can't wait to have 3 high school graduates from Elkhart. Thank you again.
Wait,
Thank you,
Tony,
Tony.
I got, Tony, wait.
I tried so quickly. I was going to do the Kevin Scott
You know you can't.
and just walk away, but that didn't happen.
I just wanted to say, Tony, thanks for your years of service. You stuck with Elkhart through some difficult times, and we appreciate that. And so I wish you all of the best as a parent, and I wish you the best in your retirement. Thank you for serving Elkhart.
Well, thank you very much. All right. Can I pull the Kevin Scott now and run?
Do it, Tony, run.
Okay, Scott. Thank you, Tony. Next on the agenda, we have special recognition of retirees. Leslie?
Good evening, President Scott, members of the board, Dr. Huff, and community. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this very special occasion where we gather here to celebrate, to honor, and express our heartfelt gratitude to the remarkable individuals who have dedicated their careers and a great portion of their lives to serving the students, families, staff, and community of Elkhart Community Schools. We're here to recognize our retiring teachers and support staff, people who have not only helped educate generations, but who have shaped the very heart and soul of our schools. Whether in the classroom, the library, the lunchroom, the front office, or behind the scenes, each of them has made a lasting impact that can't be measured simply in years, but in lives touched and futures shaped. But I do want to share that tonight we are recognizing over 1,000 years of service. Retirement is not just an ending, it's a well-earned new beginning. And tonight we pause to say thank you. Thank you for your passion, patience, wisdom, an unwavering commitment to excellence and care. Tonight is all about you, and we hope that you feel celebrated, appreciated, and proud, because you should be. You have earned every moment of this. So we'll get started with our classified retirees. When we read your name, please come forward and you'll accept a plaque as a token of appreciation from the district. And then you'll shake hands with Dr. Huff and the board. And then we'd like you to step over to the side over here and wait so we can get a group picture together. Angie Bales, Secretary of Safety, Security, and Risk Management. Cindy Bowers, Food Service from Eastwood Elementary. Deborah Brick, Cafeteria Manager at Roosevelt. I know we have people here tonight that are retiring. Trudy Conley, paraprofessional from Beck. Janet Deal, catering department driver at the commissary. I know this one's here. Lori Disselberger, exceptional learner secretary from the Educational Service Center. Michael Doring, mechanic in transportation. Cheryl Doozy, head custodian at Cleveland Elementary. Janet Farrow, secretary to the principal at Northside Middle School. Cindy Gilbert, district preschool support coordinator from Beardsley Elementary. Nancy Goldie, student services secretary at the Educational Service Center. Kathleen Goodrich, registered nurse at Pinewood Elementary. Vicki Kraus, paraprofessional pre-K at Hawthorne Early Learning Center. Tammy Lapp, secretary to the principal at Bristol Elementary. Laura Miller, registered nurse at Eastwood. Jan Roscoe, paraprofessional at Elkhart High School. Velma Schaefer, bus helper at Transportation. Becky Toomey, head custodian at Beck Elementary. Christine Van Zyl, paraprofessional at Mary Feaser Elementary. Charles Warner, head mechanic at Transportation. Gertrude Williams, cafeteria manager at Beck. Jamie Woodfin, head custodian at Bristol. And Tammy Zonker, paraprofessional at Elkhart High School. Let's give them all a round of applause. Yep, we're not done, Daisy. Thank you, everyone. Now we're on to our certified staff. We have Naomi Baumgardner, E&L teacher at Beck Elementary School. Luann Burlingame, FACS teacher at Elkhart High School, the Human Services School of Study. Carla Dar, grade 2, Beck Elementary. Oh, I love it. Rachel Denny, special education at Beck. Gail Draper, director of counselors, Elkhart High School. Anthony England, director of exceptional learners. Susan Felix, grade 2 at Beardsley Elementary. David Friel, mathematics, Elkhart High School, Business and International Relations School of Study. Teresa Harmon, grade 4 at Cleveland Elementary. Rita Jansen, grade 1 at Beck Elementary. Julia Johnson, music at Beck Elementary. Karen Kijak, language arts at Northside. Stephanie Knowlton, special education at the School of Study, Business and International Relations. Denise Kurth, interventions at Woodland. I know this one's here. Susan Law, grade 3 at Cleveland Elementary. Pete Listinsky, diesel tech at the Elkhart Area Career Center. Margarita McLean, culinary arts at the Elkhart Area Career Center. Barbara Outka, special education, Pinewood Elementary. Fern Palmer, grade 1 at Monger Elementary. Pasha Rumble, cosmetology at the Elkhart Area Career Center. Mark Schroeder, science at Westside Middle School. Joan Schultz, grade 3 at Cleveland Elementary. Heather Sheldon, grade 1 at Mary Feaser. Julie Stillwell, counselor at Northside Middle School. Kathy Stump, special education at the freshman division. Dennis Teagarden, construction trades at the Elkhart Area Career Center. Kelly Weaver, physical education at Cleveland Elementary. Beth Williams, supervisor of federal programs at the Educational Service Center. Mary Wisniewski, assistant principal at Northside Elementary. And Brent Wolf, Northside Middle School. Let's give them all a round of applause. We miss her. She's returning. Okay. I am so sorry. I have two other folks. If you guys want to come on up. Diane, where are you from?
I'm at Oslo E&L teacher.
E&L teacher. Diane Ummel, E&L teacher. Oslo Elementary. And I promise I will get you a plaque.
Holston, 4th grade, Mary Daly.
Sherry Holston, Mary Daly, 4th grade, elementary. Thank you. Did we miss anyone else? I am so sorry. We just want to thank you all for your years of service to the district and the students of Elkhart Community Schools. Thank you.
I was like, ow, I like that. Now today.
All
right, next on the agenda, we have the Excellence of Elkhart. Ms. Weigler.
Good evening, President Scott, members of the board, Dr. Huff, and the community. This was probably my most challenging Excellence of Elkhart to put together to date because there were so many things. I just started listing them all, and I had about 45 or 50, and I thought, I can't keep everybody here all night long. So I whittled it down and have just a few of the highlights from academics, arts, and athletics. It's not, there we go. Elkhart Community Schools recently hosted successful kindergarten roundup and middle school parent nights. Incoming kindergartners toured their future schools, met their teachers, and 5th and 6th grade families explored their new middle schools, making strong starts to the 6th grade transition. Our elementary math bowl added up for a big win for Roosevelt STEAM Academy and Eastwood Elementary, who each took home the top honors in their divisions. Congratulations to Riverview student Julietta Marin for earning first place at the Notre Dame Regional Science Fair. Her accomplishment reflects the creativity, rigor, and passion and learning that we encourage in all of our Elkhart students. Elkhart High School seniors declared their post-graduation plans during the senior signing day, committing to future education at schools like Notre Dame, Purdue, Goshen College, Butler, and Indiana University. And we're excited to see where the class of 25 goes and spreads their wings. Once again, I'd love to highlight Elkhart High School senior Angi Mehta, who is named one of just 40 Indiana Academic All-Stars statewide by the IASP. This award honors her remarkable academic performance, leadership, and service, all qualities that she has demonstrated throughout her entire Elkhart Schools journey. And this was just from last week on Thursday. We proudly recognized Amy Kindig as our primary teacher of the year and Beth Davis as our secondary teacher of the year. Alongside them, every school's teacher of the year was also honored for their outstanding dedication to students and their craft. So congratulations to all of them. In the area of arts, congratulations to the freshman tenor and bass, treble choirs, intermediate tenor and bass, cadet chorale, chamber choir, golden chorale. I had to make sure that I spelled that one correctly. And all of them have earned gold ratings at ISMA Festival, the state quarterfinals as well. These outstanding performances reflect their hard work and the talents of all of our musicians. And then also in the arts, we do a lot with music, but we also have a really fantastic art program as well. The annual Youth Art Night brought together incredible artwork from elementary and middle school students all across the district. From sculpture and painting to digital animation, students proudly showcased their creativity and demonstrated the strength of our arts programming. By way of athletics, the Elkhart High School boys golf team is on a roll with a 10-1 record and a recent victory over Jimtown, and also a first place finish at the Goshen Invitational with a record-setting team score of 302. Congratulations to Mary Fieser's girls soccer team and Monger's boys soccer team for capturing the district championships. It also highlights the success of our elementary athletic programs and the dedication of our coaches all across the district. And last but certainly not least, girls tennis continues to shine this spring with wins over Washington and Jimtown. Meanwhile, our middle school tennis are in full swing, and they're taking their sportsmanship to a new level this year. Future happenings. Today, we already did this. I hope that if you missed it, that you were able to go on our Facebook pages and look at the pictures. But today we had the Unified Olympics. Coming up, we've got Memorial Day, last day of school, and then we have graduation June 3rd, and we have 3 different sports awards banquets that we'll be highlighting right around that time as well. And as always, You can find all of our up-to-date information on our social media. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aaron. Next, we have the consent items. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Do I have any questions or discussion from the board?
Okay, so we have with $10,155 in donations, many of our local businesses donated to different projects inside of our school. So the Beaverson family, David and Deborah, donated $500 to our boys track team. Our unified track team received $1,000 from Brian's Tree Service, of which also their son Brian is one of our teachers and a coach for the unified track team. Kurt and Julie Olson donated $2,000 to a wonderful scholarship at the Career Center called the Bruce Porch Automotive Heritage Scholarship. The Elkhart Career Center received $475 for Teacher Appreciation Week from Inovia, and the Animal Care Clinic North donated miscellaneous supplies for the veterinarian tech program at $3,660. Jets Pizza, care of CPP Elkhart, donated $750 to the growth of our athletic department at the Elkhart High School. And then I'm going to zip through. These are all for staff recognition. Horace Mann, $325, anonymous donor of $30. The Webb family, $50. Raber Golf Course, $60. Leah Macaroon, if you've never been there, downtown Elkhart, local business, wonderful, $20. Greg Volcano Pizza, $40. Drive and Shine Headquarters, $75. Navarre Group, $100. Freshies Pizza, $50. Vogue Beauty College, $100. Buff City Soap, $50. And Hotel Elkhart Tapestry Collection by Hilton, $170. And last but not least, Jen at Matsky Florist did all of our floral arrangements for our teacher appreciation dinner for $700, and they are a giving, phenomenal local florist business. And then even though we had recognition of our retirement, we have gone in the past where we just always talk about the retirees. And so just celebrating again, Julia Johnson, 8 years at Mary Beck for music, our own Pam Melcher, 31 years of service with our food department, and she has seen the ebb and flow of so many different menu changes and program changes. A lady that a lot of people don't recognize, but if you're inside the school district, you know Cindy Gilbert. She spent 16 years developing and doing different programs for our staff, spending a lot of time at Beardsley Elementary. She did a lot of parent support and also encouraging our teacher staff. She will be greatly missed, and she just is one of the kindest souls you will ever meet. Kathy Goodrich, nurse at Pinewood for 23 little snotty nose years, you guys. Think about that. 23 years of that. It's amazing. Mr. Clyde Riley, who I just feel like stands all on his own, 25 years of service in our school district and such a very wise and charismatic man. And Nicole Anner, daily paraprofessional, 21 years. So adding to our over 1,000 years, I didn't want to go without stating that those were in this packet because I usually read them, but all of those years of service and $10,155 later, I say thank you.
Well done.
Thanks.
How many years of service was that again?
What?
Years of service?
Of
How many?
who?
Cumulative?
Well, we are over 1,000 years right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's what you said.
plus one.
Plus one.
Yeah, 1,000 plus one, Troy.
Gotcha.
All right.
All right, thank you. I have a motion and I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, under new business, Mr. Thorne, you have the remainder of the meeting, it looks like. So let's start off with administrative guidelines, 312-1 ECS, personal background checks, references, and mandatory reporting.
Good evening, and thank you, President Scott, members of the board, Dr. Huff. This evening, the administration is presenting for preliminary consideration and review a proposed administrative guideline relating to the procedures which are to be followed by the Human Resources Department related to the conduct of background and reference checks for new employees to the school district, as well as an obligation to conduct scheduled background checks for current employees of the corporation. Those are done every 5 years for employees. The plan is to bring this back to you for further consideration during the meeting on May 27th. Should you have suggestion revisions or corrections to the guidelines as presented, please feel free to contact my office.
Very Very good, thank you. Next, we have Board Policy 3141.01A, suspension and dismissal of professional staff members.
Thank you. Tonight, the administration is presenting for preliminary consideration a proposed revision to this policy. The proposed revision eliminates a requirement set forth in the policy to provide notification by a specified date regarding whether an administrator's contract will be non-renewed or the administrator will be reassigned to a different position. This language is not required by Indiana law, and we are recommending rescission of that language from the policy. Again, brought to you tonight for preliminary consideration.
Thank you. Next, Board Policy 3410.04CS, substitute compensation.
Thank you. Tonight, the administration is also presenting for preliminary consideration proposed revisions to the compensation plan for substitute teachers. These proposed revisions will not take effect until July 1, 2025. The policy as presented increases the rate paid for substitute teachers with a substitute permit issued by the Indiana Department of Education to $120 per day and increases the rate paid for certified teachers employed as a substitute to $160 per day. The proposed revision also adds some incentives to teachers employed as substitutes who are working within a semester between 25 and 49 days, that in addition to their compensation, they would receive a $300 additional compensation during that period. And for those substitute teachers working more than 50 days per semester, the incentive would be $600. The policy also does eliminate the premium rate, which is currently paid to retired certified substitute teachers, as this rate is no longer sustainable given the current financial challenges the district is facing. Again, this is brought to you tonight for just preliminary consideration.
Thank you. Next, we have Board Policy 5350, student suicide awareness and prevention.
Thank you. So that the district can be in compliance with provisions of Indiana Code 2026-5-34.4, the administration is presenting for preliminary consideration this policy, which sets forth in detail the training requirements for district employees related to this topic. This past fall, all district employees were required to participate in this training. This policy is presented to you tonight for preliminary consideration.
And lastly, administrative guidelines 5600B, guidelines for secondary school athletics.
Thank you. The administration is presenting for preliminary consideration and review proposed revisions to the guidelines for secondary school athletics. Primarily, these changes deal with just the issues related to the nature of physicals required of students participating in secondary athletics. Again, bringing this tonight for just preliminary consideration and review.
Thank you, Mr. Thorne. Do we have any questions or comments from the board on these proposed policy and guidelines? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we have from the superintendent and staff, but Dr. Huff is going to yield a little bit of time to you. Zach, Mr. Quiet.
Thank you. President Scott, members of the board, Dr. Huff, and the community. I'd just like to take some time to share with you our current financial situation and the reality that we're in at Elkhart Community Schools. Recently, over the last week, Dr. Huff and I sat on an S&P Global ratings call for our bonds. That is Standard & Poor's, the group that rates public and private entities. And they assigned us a rating of A for our 2025 bonds with a negative outlook. This is the second rating that we've received with this negative outlook for Elkhart Community Schools. We have a double A long-term rating and an A with a negative outlook. And that's driven by last year's experience of about a $10.4 million drawdown in our cash. What that means, and we've kind of presented at different times on this, but we have spent $10.4 million more than we've brought in revenue, and it is not sustainable. Jake, if you can share, we've been working with Policy Analytics, and this is their projection that they've given us. I think we've shared this with the board in some different groups, but if we continue on this trajectory of spending, the district will be out of money sometime in 2026. The need for change is real. The need for change is important, and it's imminent. We have to act now. I know we have looked at some things like our food service. We mentioned in our last meeting that we were going to look at a food service management company. Since the 18-19 school year, we've had to transfer just shy of $5 million to support that program. That should be a self-sustaining, if not self-earning fund. And so we need to look outside to find some help in managing that and being fiscally responsible. Since the fall of 2019 to the fall of 2024, our student enrollment has dropped by 12%. Our certified staff has remained at 800 plus for that entire period. Our student to teacher ratio has gone from 18:1 to 14:1. To put that into perspective, 10,000 student district, which is what we are, 10,400, but 10,000 student district, to move from 18:1 to 14:1, with a roughly $80,000 cost. That's $12 million in additional expenses that are needed to support that. And that is across the board. We've seen substitute pay, extra duty pays, increasing on our regular wages by an average of 10 to 15% per pay period. So in addition to our regular wages, we're paying an additional 10 to 15%. The state of Indiana, a few years ago, when they increased the per ADM account or dollars per student, put some legislation in place that mandated that schools spent state money on teachers. There was a mandate of 62% of state funding that goes to teacher wages and salaries. Any certified teacher that's in the classroom for over 50% of their time, Elkhart Community Schools is at 73%. We far exceed that standard that the state has put out. We continue to decline. I think our fall enrollment, we saw another additional 150 in the spring count. So that trend continues. And I think it's important to inform our community of the realities of where Elkhart Community Schools sits today. These are achievable. I think we've identified many areas where we can address that quickly. We've been working to put plans in place to extend that runway of cash, if you will, as we implement a lot of these savings measures. But the truth of the matter is that we have overspent significantly in the last year and a half. And we need to put some things in place to make sure that the district is financially stable. And I think we do that by allocating resources based on our students and our families that we serve, and realizing that that number has decreased, and the support that we provide it needs to look similar to that. I would say in addition, we have seen, we have a sprawling footprint of square footage. It's expensive to maintain, and it's hard to create efficiencies in an organization when you have that much footprint to maintain. And so I think in closing, I think we have a team in place that's able to do that. I think we have a team in place that's working hard. We've brought some partners in that are helping us look at that, benchmark against other districts and understand where we can improve. But it will take change, and it will take some systematic changes. And it'll take everyone at Elkhart Community Schools to get on board and to be a part of that success story. So,
May I ask a follow-up question, Mr. Quiet?
absolutely.
Thank you, sir. For those who have not seen this, this chart here, can you explain, because you see clearly healthy cash balances of 26 million starting in 2020 to where, if you look at current day reality, if we don't make any changes by next year, it's a minus $5.7 million. Can you explain to our community what has happened dramatically over those previous 5 years?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that we've noticed as we've been diving into these numbers.
Talk about the context too of the world too. I think we need to talk about what was happening in the world at the time.
Absolutely. So 2020 and 2021, obviously we have COVID. You have ESSER dollars that have hit. We have a referendum fund that rolled off that wasn't renewed, but we also had a COVID stimulus that came in behind that. We also had the state of Indiana coming behind that and saying we need to invest more in our education. And so you saw more dollars per student. And so while our enrollment was declining, our revenues and our resources increased or remained the same. And I think allowed us to maybe not look at some of these decisions that should be made around those, because it wasn't eating the cash balance. As you can see, we were actually able to put some dollars away. And I would give credit to my predecessor in being able to do that. Without that, we'd be in a much tougher position than we are today. And so as those have rolled off, we now have, the ESSER has been spent. We certainly do not have any dollars coming in from a referendum, operating referendum. The state has drastically decreased its support. We're expecting a 2% increase to per student funding from the state. And then Senate Enrolled Act 1, we will bring more detailed information, but will likely impact our district in the couple of $1 million of revenue in our operating fund. And so what went from the early 2020s, a very much tailwind in terms of revenue and the ability to do things, has turned quickly into a strong headwind of some things that the district needs to be very strategic about how they approach and look at the decisions from a long-term impact.
I ask another follow-up question?
Absolutely.
And I enjoy our time together. One of the things that's important about that S&P call is, can you talk about, you talked about the rating and what that means. Can you talk about what would happen if there were any changes in the rating, and why did they choose to preliminary give us that, keep our rating the same? I sat on that call. I kind of know the answer, but I think it's important that we share that with the community.
So last year when we had this call, we started to see that cash balance decline, and I shared with them that we would likely see it continue to decline, knowing that we hadn't started to make some changes. And this year, I knew it was important for Dr. Huff to sit in on that call with us to really explain his vision and the things that we've started to do already. I think just like any company, any earnings call that you are on, you have a CEO and a CFO that talk about the vision and strategies for the school district. And I think that they have put some faith in some of these ideas and some of these initiatives that we've started to put in place, and given us, again, another, before they downgrade us in that rating, given us an opportunity to do the things that we say we're going to do to improve this outlook. I think, is that?
I just wanted to, well, I think in just brass tacks, when you have a downgraded rating, how does that impact a teacher in the classroom? How does that impact how we do business? How does that impact our school district?
Absolutely. Ultimately, it affects our bonding capacity, our bonding rates. We're going to pay more money for the dollars we need to improve our facilities. More dollars we have to pay there, the less dollars we have other places. And it, again, those difficult decisions of where those resources are allocated get a little more difficult because there's a little less money to go around when we talk about that. So it really kind of impacts across the board. It also sends a signal, I think, to partners in the area and in the community that shows that, that if a group like S&P is downgrading the school, they might start to ask their own questions about what's going on there. So I think from a dollar and cent standpoint, it affects us, but I think from a reputation standpoint, it's also something a path we don't want to go down.
Final question from me, sir. I know this probably feels like a grilling, but it really isn't. I think you should be you should be complimented on the things that you put in place, the internal measures, things like time clock, making sure that the appropriate contracts are signed, making sure that we don't enter any multi-year agreements that are not advantageous to the school district. These are all things that you spent the last year doing with you and your team, and I'm very proud of our business office team. With that being said, if we did not present to them a clear plan on what that looked like, they were ready to go ahead and downgrade our school district. So I really want to be super transparent about that reality. The excessive spending, the $20 million over in 2 years, that was pointed out to me very quickly on that call. Correct?
Yes, yes, it was. Yeah, our team's done a great job. We've got a great staff. Again, a great team in the district that's ready to take this on. But it is change. It will feel different. But it's necessary.
Hey, Zach, can you put a dollar estimate number, a round one, on what a downgrade would cost the school corporation?
In this environment, I don't know. I mean, tariff today, gone tomorrow, and you've got interest rates. We don't know what are happening there, but certainly
Or range. would be fine.
at least a few $1 million, and just the amount that we're going to have to pay back on that, which is, down the line, lessens the ability of those dollars to be spent in the classroom or on the facilities that improve the classroom. So yeah, certainly in the millions, depending on the size of that bond. Mhm.
I'll say one last thing. I think it is a testament to your team and what you guys have the foresight to do. I think a downgrading was most likely imminent on this call. I think the way the questions, or my understanding of the way the questions were presented was more of what is your proposal for these issues? And when they heard that, we already have a lot of the items that they were asking for, what our proposal, what our plan was in place right now, it's really changed the tone of that conversation. So, I think it's that foresight that allowed us to keep our bond rating, which is critical. You stressed that. It's not all doom and gloom. There's things that we can do as a corporation in the district with the right leadership to change that trajectory you're looking at on the screen. I think we're situated in a good spot to do that. One thing I would caution, just like on the phone call, I think we could have been very easily downgraded, and yet we had already moved. We had already started. And I think that is necessary in a scenario like this. That, we need to take action. We need to be strategic. We need to be thoughtful. We need to be forward-thinking. But we need to take action, and we need to take action now to prevent these types of things occurring. This is not a wait and see. It's a must-do. So, great job on turning that phone call around and already having those practices in place. And I, even though I get sick when I look at this, I have full faith and confidence that we will have the right policies and protocols in place to turn this around. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, Dr. Hoff, the remaining time is yours.
Oh, how do I follow that up? But I certainly want to say there's a lot of things that are on the personnel report. There are a couple things I want to highlight on our personnel report. Today, Elkhart High School, the board, to your approval, you have a new principal at Elkhart High School. Mr. Anderson, don't look behind that person trying to see me in the face. I said that there's a new principal who will be joining us here in July 1st. His name is Phil Schultz. Excited to have him join the board. Energetic, has a history of high expectations in his previous school district. So I'm pretty sure you're already on the Google machine trying to figure out a little bit more about this individual. But I feel like we're going to be in steady hands and look forward to him joining our team. Also on this board report, we also have a new basketball coach who'll be joining our school community, Bodie Bender. Will be joining us over from Mishawaka. He'll be starting with us officially in July 1st, but I know he'll hit the ground running here pretty soon this week. So I know that Mr. Anderson has been a key a point of contact, and we have some things that are going to be ready to make sure that his introduction to our school community, our staff, and to our students are definitely going to set him up for success. So look forward to that. You probably saw a lot of personnel movement across the school district. There were some people who were deans that changed their title to assistant principal to kind of have alignment across every one of our elementary schools. Also, we have some positions that will not be refilled through attrition from the admin level. Mrs. Williams, we love you, but I will be spreading out some of your duties across other individuals. And that's going to be pretty common across a couple of our other individuals as well. So just because we see someone retiring doesn't mean we're automatically going to go ahead and, particularly from the central office position, my goal is try to keep as much as we can in the classroom. But I will see 7 pages of a personnel report. That's a lot of movement there. So I wanted to make sure I had an opportunity to express why those things are being made. Also, some people wanted different opportunities for their own personal career pursuits as well. So I think anytime the district can help to grow our own employees in that aspect, I think that's critical as well. And then last but certainly not least, I want to say thank you to all the members who you had to have these conversations with. These are not fun conversations to have. I probably sat in on, I know with every administrator, I sat in with every single one of those conversations with them. And I was roughly 30 administrators I've had to have conversation about some type of personnel change with. And they not just accepted one grace, many of them understand that hey, this is the challenge that we're here. This is what I signed up for. Taking this job now over a year and a half ago, we are doing the work. One of the things that I asked for when I took this position was, what do you expect of me as your superintendent? They told me flat out, you're not going to go into an easy situation. 3 months, hey, rearrange the middle school. Okay, we're going to do those things, and we're going to do those things well. Next year, we're going to talk about, well, what are some of the other things that we need to look at? School time, routing, all those other things. I'm forecasting where we need to go to make sure this is an outstanding school district. And I want to give some little reminders as well of the things that we have accomplished this year. Our teachers, particularly after we have our Teacher Appreciation Week, I sent this out to our staff last week. I'm talking fast, so I need to slow down. To our Teacher Appreciation Week, but the work that they do in the classroom has been phenomenal, and that the results are showing up. You probably know our graduation rate, one of the highest in this area, 94.5%, up 4% from last year. $10 million in scholarships this year earned at the Elkhart High School. That exceeded their goal of $5 million, and I think they'll blow right past that. Mr. Anderson, is that correct? He's just saying stuff. But $10 million already in earned scholarship. That is life-changing money for our students. Another thing I'm also very proud of, PSAT and SAT data exceeded state average in growth this year. Hats off to you, Mr. Anderson, and the whole high school team for the work that they put in that area. Still have work to go, but we are closing that gap there. Also, another thing, Mrs. Lopez Bonner, who's back there hiding, WIDA growth with her and her team up 52% over this time last year of the number of students who have increased in their WIDA levels. Mrs. Kripe and the elementary principals here. Don't try to hide, Barb. I see you over there. I read compared to this time last year up 13.7% growth. I looked at our preliminary English language arts school. Monger, you're back there bragging. Yes, that's how they behave. But, across the district, English and language arts growth across all levels are up. When I say these things, and then there's another page that we sent out, we have construction activity going on. We have currently $81 million in construction activities across the district. Elkhart is a busy, complex place. There are 27 different school entities that we have here in Elkhart Community Schools, starting from pre-K all the way to adult ed. Proud to have a little bit of say in each and every one of them. Mr. Quiet, when he was talking about that little graph there on the screen, that was if we did not make any changes, correct? There are lots of changes. I didn't have the luxury of multiple years to make those changes. You had to start right now to make those changes. And you know what? I feel like as a school district, we will do those things through consultation. We'll make sure that we get input from outside vendors who are experts in this area. But most importantly, our solution has to come from within. Superman is not coming to save us in those areas. We are capable of doing those things on our own. But I want to also leave on a little bit of a high note from my end. The work is paying off. We have outstanding teachers in the classroom, outstanding administrators, outstanding custodians, outstanding bus driver, anyone who impacts the lives of the kids here. There's no other place that I'd rather be, because I see the payoff of our work. I told you this would probably be the most I ever speak at these board meetings. I want the results to speak for themselves. So when you walk away from here and someone say how Elkhart Community Schools is doing in every one of our academic areas, you say, we've improved in all of them. Every single one. And I expect to have the same conversation next year as well. So with that being said, Mr. Scott, I'm very proud of not just some of the personnel decisions that we have made over the last really year. These conversations have been going on for a year, but anyone who has joined the Elkhart family tonight, very proud of you. Go ahead and now you can go tell your family and Facebook and do whatever you want to do. But as far as the academic achievement and measure, those are things that I'm most proud of for our school district. So I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Huff. And I just want to comment on the graph. The way I kind of reconciled it is that's a trajectory. That is not Elkhart Schools. district's trajectory. We will do something and prevent that. So just know and understand that.
I don't think they'll let us say something. I think we have to actually have a clear plan, and one thing that we are, is strategically where we're going to put people and staff and right size ratios, all those things, right? This is a big school district with a lot of things to do. And, you said something, I said a lot of things to do. I'm not being as specific.
You're not.
But everything has to be tied to a metric of what we do here. It just can't be loosey-goosey. And I think one of the things that you've seen in my leadership is that everything is tied to some type of outcome. I want to be held accountable by this board. I want to be held accountable by our stakeholders and by our community. I want you to be able to say, hey, you know what, the work that we're doing, the payoff, the ROI, is that the kids are getting a better education than I had. And that's what we owe the kids. That's the true Elkhart promise.
Agreed.
I think our intent here is this graph that Zach had. What we're going to do is we're going to flip that graph over, and it's going to go this way. Okay, that's where we're headed, folks, and we can do it.
So with Aaron's permission, I have the opportunity to share a couple of other exciting things. Receiving an email from Mr. Wyrick and talking about that for the 6th year in a row, our music department was voted one of the best communities for music education by NAM. NAM is the National Association of the Music Merchants. When you think about the nation, 935 school districts actually applied for this. Only 18 in Indiana earned this honor. And it's like a rubric that you have to go through, and you have to, fill out many aspects of it. And one of the things that Mr. Wyrick said is that Dr. M.J. Robinson, he'd like to give a special thank you because he coordinated the submission of the application for this. But it is something that is, it celebrates the district and it demonstrates outstanding achievement and incentive in the music and education department. And we have many of our seniors doing phenomenal things in the music department. And so this is another honor. So think about this, 935 school districts nationwide, only 16 in Indiana, and we were nominated for the 6th year in a row. So we should be very proud of our music department. And weeks ago, we received this phenomenal little handwritten letter, which I just have saved. And it is from our students with the United Sound Orchestra. And tomorrow evening, one of the things that we have going on is at the Elkhart High School main campus, they will be having their concert at 7 p.m. tomorrow evening. So if you look at this, this is our gen ed and our students that are part of this orchestra. And this is just another part of Mr. Wyrick and his phenomenal team and what they do for the music department. And looking forward ahead to on May 27th, if you've never been, our academy will be having their senior awards. And that's where some of our seniors share heartfelt stories of what Brian and his team have done and the phenomenal things and differences that they've made in some of our students' life that maybe they thought that nobody believed in them, but they fell into the hands of him and their lives have changed forever. So those are some amazing things that are coming up. But again, kudos to our music department, from the band, the orchestra, the choir, our United Sound. They never stop encouraging our children to grow through their music. So thank you.
Kelly? Ann?
Yeah. I just want to say the month of May, as we all know, is so crazy with so many activities. It tends to run people ragged. And I had the opportunity over the last week and a half or so to attend several schools with some of their events and had a great time, and seeing everything that the teachers are putting in, parents are putting in to make these experiences really wonderful for our students. And when I was at the freshman division last week, meeting with kids on their semester health projects, as a thank you, Darlene, Amy, and Missy had a little bag for us, and in it was a card. And when I got back to my office and I read the card, it just kind of hit me. And so I wanted to share that with all of you today. I think it's quite appropriate. So if you'll indulge me. The starfish story. One day a man was walking along the beach when he noticed a boy picking up and gently throwing things into the ocean. Approaching the boy, he asked, "Young man, what are you doing?" And the boy replied, "Throwing starfish back into the ocean. Their surf is up and the tide is going out, and if I don't throw them back, they'll die." The man laughed to himself and said, Do you realize there are miles and miles of beach and hundreds of starfish? You can't make any difference. After listening politely, the boy bent down to pick up another starfish and threw it into the surf. Then he smiled at the man and said, "I made a difference to that one." So whether you're a teacher, staff, a sub, a volunteer, a board member, I just want you to know that you make a difference every single day, impacting a student, a coworker, a friend. And I just wanted to share that with you and to thank my friends at the freshman division for sharing this with me, because it really had an impact on me.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you, everybody. Meeting adjourned.